In part 2 of our series on basic acoustic lap steel guitar, we'll take a look at vibrato, pull-offs, and bar bends. So stay tuned, get comfortable, we're going to have a good time right here. So for most of these tutorials, we've been in the tuning of open D. Today we're going to take the guitar up to open G. We'll do the Nashville open G, which is the true open G, which means that the lowest string will be tuned to D. So we'll go through the strings. The lowest string, D. Fifth string, E. Fourth string, D. Third string, G. Second string, B. And the highest string, D. So basically it should sound like an open G chord. Okay, so now that we're in tune, the first thing we'll take a look at here is vibrato. As I've stated in the previous slide guitar lessons, the vibrato is your signature. A smooth, steady vibrato is a beautiful tone. One of the problems I have over the years is trying to make the vibrato nice and slow. It's human nature to play typically fast for most players. They tend to have a nervous vibrato, much like this. Very fast, kind of nervous sounding. There's nothing wrong with it. It might just not be as pleasant as a nice slow vibrato like this. If you look at players like David Lindley, his vibrato is like melted butter. It's wonderful. So for the vibrato technique, in the first lesson we had talked about how to hold the bar. And I'm using the Lapdog tone bar from Dunlop today. The top finger on the ridge, thumb holding it from this side, and then my second finger down the ridge of the other side. And then I use my third finger to dampen behind the strings, as we discussed in the first lesson. So what we'll do here is we'll go to the 5th fret, which would make this C, and we'll just slowly work on a vibrato. Now for this lesson, I'm not using thumb picks, I'm just using my thumb, and I'm going to leave it this way for this lesson. But here we go with a nice vibrato. Just have your finger down behind the string, and just, you can use it, and basically just, it's in the wrist. Kind of bend your wrist a little bit and try to work on keeping it slow and steady. That's most important, slow and steady. Okay, so the vibrato itself is mostly in the wrist, and it's just something you have to practice. I find when I anchor down my baby finger on the string, it helps. It gives me a more solid type of vibrato. One popular technique for a lot of the acoustic slide players, and especially the dobro players, is the pull-off technique. And pull-off is wherein we take the edge of the slide bar and we just pull off the string gently, like this. I'm going to do this on the 2nd string over the 1st fret. Okay, so a slow pull off, I just, at the same time that I pluck the 2nd string, I pull it off so that the bar goes down to the 3rd string and stays steady there. So you'll hear the pull off, the actual pulling of that note when the bar comes off the string. Now it's tougher to do that with a bullet bar, and this is why today we're using this bar. The bullet bar is, of course, rounded tip, a little harder to do a pull-off, obviously. But so the lick that we're going to learn here with the pull-off, very simple, just as an introductory thing to get you comfortable with it, will be this. Okay, so we'll take that nice and slow. And now it's a little dirty loose. It's okay. We can be loose and dirty for this lesson. So we'll start with the bar over top of the first fret, the second string. Now when we do the pull off, we gently want to slide the bar up to the second fret on the third string to be ready for the next pull off. Okay, so you see how I slide the bar up to it. Okay, so now I'm here. The bar is ready for there. Now you'll notice I'm going, so I pluck with my thumb the third string at the second fret. And then with my second finger, the second string open, and then I will pull off with my thumb on the third string at the second fret. Okay. One more time. Now we'll finish that just to make it interesting. We'll finish it so that we're back in open G at the 5th fret. And we're going to pluck both strings, the 6th string and the 4th string together. That should be your octave as we're in open G. A little vibrato at the end. Okay, so I'll do it once very, very slowly, then we'll pick it up to speed, and that will give you a pretty good head start on this. That's fast, nice and slow now. One more time fast. Okay, and you'll notice still, even now, a little bit too fast on the vibrato. So just take it back, see if you can work on slow vibrato. It's difficult. Maybe it's not for you. I found that it's been one of my biggest struggles with the guitar forever, is that solid, steady, slow vibrato. For the third part of this tutorial, we'll take a very, very introductory and brief look at bar slants. Bar slants are reasonably difficult. With a bar slant, you really have to not only rely on your fret positioning, but also your ear for intonation. You need to be able to hear whether it's in tune or not. Now, when we say bar slants, basically, this is a technique you can use to somewhat emulate a pedal steel. For instance, and I'll play the lick that we're going to learn today. I'll do that one more time. Okay, so very, very simple lick. Let's break it down, and you'll see once again the technique of the bar stays the same with your hand, but now we're actually slanting the bar. Now this is called a forward slant, right? But if you do it poorly, you get that out of tune sound. You could call that Hawaiian maybe, but I don't want to. Okay. So we're going to essentially work with two strings here. We're going to work with the 3rd string and the 5th string. We're going to work on that at the 5th fret, which will be a C chord, even though we're in open G. And excuse me, I shouldn't say C chord, but the root key will be C. So we're going to start with just plucking the 2 strings together. That's what that should sound like. Okay, now this is where it gets tricky. So the next 2 moves are going to be the actual slant. And what has to happen is I'll hold my hand up this way, you can see how the bar is. You want the tip of the bar basically over top of the 7th fret on the 3rd string. Okay, Then you want the bottom part of the bar down on the the sixth fret on the fifth string. Now you'll hear the difference in intonation if you don't have it just right. This is where it gets tricky. You hear that? So it's almost minor, the country minor. And you really have to pay attention to that. Now we take that same position and slide it up 2 frets equally. So now we're up here, and you can hear even a little bit there, the intonation came just a little bit out. Very, very, it's within micrometer movements that can make this either sound beautiful or pitchy. You hear the difference there? Now, of course, I'm overstating that or overplaying it, how out of tune that would be. But right there is pretty much where you want it to be, you know. So, okay, I'll show it without my fingers in the way. Okay, and then we end the riff at the 10th fret, same 2 strings. Okay, so that becomes easier. But this is where the slant comes in. So if we're here on this final part of the lick, we're here. And then we just bring it into pitch right there. Let's try it again. Practice that one more time. Nice and slow. And you'll see how I just gently twist the bar into shape there. Now you want to, if you do it quicker, it's way more forgiving. I know that we're playing this really slow and it may sound a bit out of tune. However, that's where we want to get to. So the lick is like this. Okay, one more time. So that's a very, very easy way to begin bar slants. We're going to get into greater depth and detail with the bar slants as we go, but this one being somewhat difficult, it might be easier to learn and master this simple one before we start moving into the reverse minor bar slants, because that's going to get to be a lot of fun. So we'll do this one more time. And you're really, really using your ear, and at the same time watching. So it's a twofold thing you have to do. Keep an eye on your fret positioning and use your ears at the same time to make sure it's out of tune. Otherwise it'll sound like this. See, now, that's not so pleasant. You may find yourself fired from the band at that point. And add a little vibrato at the end. Always work on that vibrato. Never forget that, because that will be your signature. Well, I hope you've enjoyed part 2 in our series of acoustic lap steel guitar. If you are enjoying these lessons, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. And if you really, really are having a good time with these, please consider supporting me at patreon.com/Dan Walsh. We'll carry on with these series as we go. In the meantime, enjoy this, and we'll see you real soon, right here in the Beard Bunker.